Let's cross to Sana'a now and speak to a journalist who has worked extensively in Houthi-controlled areas, Yousef Mawry. Yousef, thank you so much for joining us here on the programme. We've heard in the last 24 hours from the United States, from the UK. They've described these strikes as successful. They've said it sent a clear message to the Houthis. Has it?
Well, it's successful in the sense that instead of just the Ansar Allah Houthis taking up arms against the US and the UK, you now have an entire population, an entire nation, taking up arms and joining in with the Ansar Allah Houthis to counter what they perceive to be an unjust US and UK aggression on Yemen, mainly because the Ansar Allah Houthis' effort is well believed to be in support of the Palestinian people, a cause which is dear to the hearts of all Yemenis, not just those who follow Ansar Allah and the Houthis, but all Yemenis, including the internal factions in Yemen who oppose the Ansar Allah Houthis. So I can tell you that in terms of what these military operations have achieved, they really haven't destroyed any of the ballistic missile launching sites. They haven't destroyed any of the fighter jets possessed by the Ansar Allah Houthis, and they haven't really targeted or damaged any of the radars, which are used to guide the unmanned drones, which target Israeli ships in the Red Sea. And
Yousef, you say it hasn't really, made any kind of dent or impacted anything. But if anything, it's boosted their popularity. Over the last few weeks, we've seen hundreds of thousands of people come out onto the streets in support of the Houthis. This is in many ways a gift for the Houthis, isn't it? It's sort of like a dream come true where they can take on the big superpower. They've dragged the United States and the UK into this.
Well, it's not just tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people who are taken to the streets. It's millions of Yemenis who are taken to the streets, which is an indication that these, the Houthi Ansar Allah stance with the Palestinian people, these military operations in the Red Sea are a dear sentiment shared by the vast majority of the Yemeni people. So in terms of that, this has been used as an advantage point for the Ansar Allah Houthis, I think it has gained them a lot of popularity. It has garnished and gathered a lot of support. And I think people, not just in Yemen, but across the Middle East, are gravitating towards the military objectives and the political...
Yousef, I'm just going to interrupt you because, of course, the Houthis say that this is in support of the Palestinians and the situation in Gaza. But there are several layers of motivation here. I mean, some of the ships that they are targeting have nothing to do with the war in Gaza or any thing that's happening, between Israel and Hamas. I mean, just yesterday, for example, the Houthis prevented Sudanese planes carrying Yemeni civilians from landing in Mocha. I mean, the Red Sea seaports, airports in Yemen have all been hostage to the Houthis for years.
Well, the Ansar Allah Houthis have mentioned that their military objectives in the Red Sea are against the Israeli-linked ships that are transaction and exporting and importing goods, any type of supplies to Israel, or what they call the occupied Palestinian territories. In terms of the ship that was headed towards the port of Al-Mukha, they believe that this was a ship that was carrying weapons to the factions that are on the ground being supported and financed by Western powers like the US and like the UK from their military bases in Djibouti. So I can't really confirm whether this was an Israeli-linked ship or not, but according to the Ansar Allah Houthis, they feel that their military operations was justified because of the reason that they claim these ships are, they have intentions of hostile actions against the Ansar Allah Houthi movement. So these military operations, according to the Ansar Allah Houthis, will continue. Their main objective, their main targets in the Red Sea are the Israeli-linked ships and now the US ships, and also in the Red Sea. They will continue to target them according to the Ansar Allah Houthis, despite these military actions by the US.
Okay. Yousef Mawry, thank you very much for joining us.